What's good, y'all? How y'all doing this evening?
Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast. That's the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Hometown guys talking hometown sports. Today it's your boy Coach Mario and my co-host Don. What's going on,
What's
Don?
good? How y'all doing this evening? I know a lot of fans. We got 7 people in the chat. That's good. Y'all go on and say what's up. I know earlier we did 2 lives and both of them were pertaining to the Falcons. But guys, this show is on a positive note because our Braves are up in the series 2-1. Come holler at us right now. Um, if you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
Come holla!
at your hometown sports podcast. We have 2 guests on right now. We're gonna start with Josh Brown. How you doing this evening, man?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you coming on. And we also have Matt Browning. I know y'all know him. He's been on a few of our shows so far. So how you doing, Matt?
Hey, I'm doing great. It was a fun afternoon today, guys. And that was very nerve-wracking but fun.
Man, if y'all don't know anything about being a Atlanta sports fan, I know y'all Braves fans, but I know y'all probably follow other football and basketball, hockey teams, but we pretty much cover all Atlanta sports fans. And I'm telling you, like, blood pressure was just through the roof. But thank you for United. Thank you for the Braves coming through this evening for the W's. Appreciate that. If you're not following us on Twitter, follow us at FILA_SP. Instagram, FILA Sports Podcast, and on Facebook, FILA Sports Podcast. We also on Spotify and Google Play. I will be uploading a lot of our content that we've done on YouTube to those channels sometime this week. Just bear with me. And we also have a sponsor, Grant Park Print House. They're going to be responsible for printing and digital printing our logos, our merchandise. Not only our merchandise, but if you have any idea of if you have an idea for sports content related, if you want like a picture or a team printed on a shirt, just hit them up. Matt Connors. I'll put the card right here in the all right. Hit him up and he'll get you anything you need versus if it's t-shirts, mugs, and blankets, I believe. So, but let's go ahead and run down the scores for the week, scores and news for the week for the teams.
Alrighty. We for the Braves.
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and do. Oh, you said the Blaze?
That's it. Go ahead. You want to start with United?
I'll start with the Blaze. I'll do the Blaze. All right. So Friday we had a playoff game in Colorado. We lost in overtime to Chesapeake Bayhawks. We have been eliminated from playoff contention. But hey, it was a great season for the Blaze. Congrats to the Blaze and Coach Liam Banks for a wonderful season. Liam, he had hit us up the day after, saying that he want to really chop it up with us and hang out sometime in the next few weeks. So we owe that to Coach Banks for a great season, what he did with that team. And I already know next year they're going to get back out there. Liam Bynes was named the Defensive Player of the Year. Alex Woodall was also named the Rookie of the Year. And you also had Mark Matthews. His goal in that game on Friday made ESPN Sports Center top 10. That's crazy. Lacrosse makes the Sports Center top 10, and it was number 6 too. So hey, we went out with a bang. We went down swinging. That's good. United, they played today. We won against the New England Revolution. We won that match. Captain Michael Pankhurst. I know y'all haven't heard. I know if y'all haven't heard anything about him the past couple of weeks, but he will retire after this season. He, if y'all don't know Pankhurst, he's the captain of the squad. He said it's been a great journey, and it depends on what Philly and the New York City FC does. if Philly loses, then we'll be in the second in the Eastern Conference. So let's hopefully we can get second. We can't get first because New York City FC has locked up the first place. So go ahead and do the college.
Yeah. All right. UGA took on Tennessee. The Bulldogs got it done 43-14. They moved to 5-0. Georgia Tech dropped one at home to UNC 38-22. They did make some life late and make it interesting for the fans. Georgia State got a W versus Arkansas State 52-38. They moved to 2-3. I'm sorry, 3-2. Georgia Southern with the win over South Alabama. That was actually on Thursday. That was a conference game. They moved to 2-3 as well. Valdosta State stays unbeaten. They moved to they played Mississippi College and they won 42-17, and they are 5-0.
All right. You can go ahead and talk about the Falcons. I got my Falcons fixed in
All right.
today.
Well, we dropped the game today. The Houston 53-32. Yes, we gave up 50 points. We were leading 17-16 at halftime. Matt had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, one to Ridley, one to Sanu and Free as well. He also threw a pick 6.
But that game, that was garbage. That was garbage time because at the end of the game,
it was. Yeah, he was trying to.
Offensive linemen, they could have like tackled the dude, but they just said why bother? Like, who cares? We ended up losing anyway. So
yeah, the game was pretty much over at that point. During the game, Devondre Campbell was certainly drawing a lot of ire from the fans, not playing well. He actually ended up leading the teams in tackles. So go figure. Vic Beasley certainly was getting some ire from the fans as well. He didn't record a stat. A stat is a tackle or
okay,
an assist.
but still he still a pressure is a stat though. That pressure is a stat. It's just PFF and NFL.com. They don't display that. If you want to see that stat, you have to pay for that. Football Outsiders.
Oh. Yeah, but
we're not gonna get on that debate tonight. We're just gonna keep on rolling.
Like I said, he didn't store up on the stat sheet. We traded Duke Riley earlier last week, if you didn't know. We traded Duke Riley and a 2020 6th round pick to Philadelphia for Jonathan Cyprien. He actually ended up playing today where he was wearing number 32, if you didn't see him. And we swapped 6th and 7th round picks in 2020 for the deal. And Matt Bosher was put on IR, and we signed Matt Wild today. He was the punter. Matt Bosher is having issues.
And Matt Wild did a good job today flipping the field too, by the way. So I appreciate that. But yeah. I know Matt sitting over there, he ain't got these words that we got. He know his Chiefs playing well, so
Well, this is a little bit more closer than I thought it was gonna be, but yeah, 4-0 is okay. I'll take 4-0 right now.
So I take 2 and 3 right now. Shoot.
I know we'd be happy to be 500.
All right, Hawks news. Preseason starts tomorrow. Team will take on the Pelicans tomorrow at the State Farm Arena. It's hard to say the State Farm. I still call it Phillips Arena for some reason. All right, Braves. This is the topic for tonight. So NLCS started for us on Thursday, game 1. We did not do well that game. We lost that game 7-6. Friday, we were still at SunTrust and we won that game 3-0. And today we won. It looked like all hope was lost until the top of the ninth. And boy, Duval. Well, Donaldson started it off at first. Then Duval and Dansby, my boy Dansby. I told you guys, y'all gonna stop talking about my boy Dansby. Y'all gonna stop talking about my boy Lieutenant Dan. All right. There's another Lieutenant Dan, but y'all gonna stop talking about my boy. My boy Dansby is clutch. All right, he came through. The game was up 3-1, and then the bottom of the ninth, we thought the bullpen was gonna give it up. Hey, they closed it out, and we lead the series 2-1. Now, this is the first time the Braves leads a series in the NLCS since 2002. And I don't know if y'all remember that year. Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember that year. That's the year that we lost in the NLCS against the Giants. That potentially went to the World Series, lost against the Angels. And I remember, man, we made Benito Santiago and JT Snow look like MVPs in that series, man. I was like, oh man, we losing to these chumps? Come on. But game 4 is tomorrow in St. Louis. Look, I know some fans talking about, so let's bring game home 5 so we can win it on SunTrust. Look, man, close the series out. Close it out tomorrow. End it. Get extra day of rest, because right now it look like Los Angeles is struggling against the Nationals. So
we're still banged up.
We need the extra day rest.
Freddie's still banged up. Dansby still hurting. Yeah, we could always use extra rest. Ronald's banged up.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, Dansby and Duval have been clutch. I'm gonna start with Josh. What's your take on Dansby and Duval this postseason?
Well, when the Braves first got Duval, our buddy Braves Options guy who helps run the podcast and Ken were just insanely excited, and especially we call him Braves Options guy on Twitter. He's type 1 diabetic, and so is Adam Duvall. And so early on, the Knockahoma Nation podcast was like super high on Duvall and all that, and talked about him as being really underrated. He had really good defense, and obviously like a great power. And then this year, your boy was totally dogging him, man. You could find my tweets from like 2 months ago, and I was just talking about how, how I wasn't impressed with his homers and Gwinnett. I mean, it was the stuff I said was just bad. And boy, have I been eating crow, man, because about a month or two ago, we were talking on the podcast, and I was like, the ball's juiced. Of course, he's hitting all these dingers in Gwinnett. Who cares? He's going to hit, 190 and hit 12 homers in Atlanta. Like, no big deal. And my co-host, Ken Hendricks, was like, you're an idiot. He's fantastic. He's fixed his swing, and he was right. He literally fixed his swing. He's doing some different stuff with his swing, and man, I mean, what a secret weapon he's been, and if you look at, not to get all nerdy, but like if you look at Statcast, I looked at Statcast the other day, and like there's a stat like barrels per plate appearance. Basically, he has like the 11th best barrels per plate appearance, which means the dude makes contact, and yeah, man. So good on him for coming back, and because a lot of times when guys get like that kind of caliber guy gets sitting down to AAA, it messes with them. They never come back mentally. You know what I mean? Like Fulte, like good on him for going down and then coming back up and then proving everybody wrong. A lot of guys can't do that. I mean, you ever been like demoted or something maybe in your job or gotten onto and you're just defeated, And so to see those guys come back has been pretty cool. And Dansby, man, like I don't care about his year, honestly. Like he's so good. He's so this is a hot take, but clutch. A lot of Braves Twitter just looks at the numbers and stuff, and they don't regard clutch as a real thing. I think that's ridiculous. He's a savage when it matters. I mean, when it's when push comes to shove and it's a pivotal situation, he's just got that juice. You know what I mean? And so and like we were talking about before we started recording, his glove is so underrated too. He's so smooth and so clean at short, and we got used to Andrelton, you know what I mean, which was, he spoiled us, but Dansby's great. Yeah. So good on him.
All right. Matt, what's your take?
I was watching the game with my dad, and we just kind of felt like, and I'm not saying I predicted this, but we felt like that 1-0 was not going to be the final score for two reasons. First off, Wainwright, which I was surprised he went 8 innings in the first place. We thought that the Braves were getting the pitch count up enough where you go to the Cardinals bullpen, which is not a strong suit for the Cardinals whatsoever. Get to their bullpen that the Braves could score runs, and sure enough, I mean, that bottom of the top of the ninth inning, and Josh, I don't know how you feel about this, was as stressed and as intense as I have felt during a baseball game in a long time. And to see two guys that have gone through a lot of ups and downs this year and throughout their career. I mean, Adam Duvall was an all-star,
Right.
And Dansby was having a great year till he hurt his heel.
Yeah.
And see those two guys be the guys that made the difference today, along with Mike Soroka, by the way. Which I guess we'll talk about him in a little bit. But with Dansby and Duvall making that kind of a difference and being the impact guys today, it speaks to the depth that this team has. That those are the guys that can step up in the game 3 of the NLDS.
All right. Yeah. I look, man. I was watching the game too, like top of the ninth. We like the top of the ninth. I'm saying like, okay, man, we got to do something here. And my blood pressure already was high, like I said, from the Falcons game. I was just I had 911 on speed dial. I'm like, if we lose this game, I'm about to just call the ambulance because like I was gonna die. I was literally gonna faint and die. That or this TV right here was gonna go out that doggone window right now. I promise you. Like that's how stressed my day was. But they turned it around and they it's hard to explain what happened, but it happened. And like I said, tomorrow we just gotta close out the series, come on back home, and like I said, if the Nationals win tonight, hey, that'd be we could literally. I'm not looking beneath the Nationals, but that's a series we know we can win, and we can just walk into the World Series.
People have not talked about that I've seen on Twitter, anyways, that deserves a lot of credit is the way that Mark Melancon has bounced back after what happened in Game 1.
Oh yeah.
I know he gave up the double to Goldschmidt today, but it's pretty easy to let that affect you in the short term and the long term after what happened on Friday. Or I'm sorry, it was Thursday rather, and I was impressed with how he responded, not only in Game 2 but in Game today as well.
Yeah. All right.
In the long run, the double didn't hurt.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
Coach, go ahead and say what you have to say. Your thoughts on Dansby Duvall, and then go in the chat.
I was just. It was great for a guy like Dansby, because he's been going through it the past couple of years. He's been injured and still playing. He hasn't performed up to like I say, he was a top pick in the draft, and he's from these local kids. So it has to be a lot of pressure for him to come through today. I was just happy for him, And Duvall, like, man, he's been clutch. Like, I kind of like Matt said, I didn't know that. Almost like Matt, I didn't think the game would end 1-0. I didn't know if we would win it, but I was just thinking somebody's gonna hit a home run. We're gonna go to extra innings. I just knew that we were about to get a ton of drama. Right. I was expecting a ton of drama. That's what it was. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, but I just knew it wasn't gonna end like that. Yeah, I did know. I didn't know how it was gonna end. I didn't know who was gonna win, but I just knew the game wasn't over then. So I'm happy it did end the way it ended.
Hey, good on old Brian Snitker. Just saying,
man.
He gets a lot of hate on Braves Twitter. I don't know about,
he does.
Now, I always have to qualify this. Like, Braves Twitter is not the real world. If you go to a Braves game, like if you go to a game, like most people like Nick Markakis, or they like Snitker. Braves Twitter is a different world. But like last night, he pinch hit Fried, right, for brought in Duvall, right, and everybody freaking out, and then look what happened, right? And tonight, me and my wife were sitting there watching it, and he pinch runs. He puts Billy Hamilton on second, and not everybody notices this. They should, but my wife was like,
"We don't have a third baseman."
Yeah, Billy Hamilton's like, or my wife's like, Billy Hamilton's making them so nervous right now, and he was making Martinez just,
Yep.
you know what I mean, just messing him up. And so I mean, Brian Snitker deserves some credit.
I agree 100%.
Does he make the? Yeah. Nobody makes perfect bullpen moves all the time, but 2019, I think a lot of fans on Twitter don't realize that across the landscape of Major League Baseball right now in 2019, that's how almost all organizations kind of manage. I don't like it, you know, like my perfect world would be like you don't get pulled until your arm's falling off, and
that's how I feel too.
Relief pitchers, but but that's just how it is, and Snitker deserves. I'm his biggest fanboy on Twitter, and people troll me about it, but he just deserves a lot of credit.
Agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's my thing, Josh. What you said about Braves Twitter and the people go to the games, but I said in the club level at SunTrust, man, those cats there they're not there for the game. They're there to talk, socialize, everything else besides the game. And I'm like, I'm never sitting in the Infinity Club ever again. I'm gonna sit in the 300 level like I did before. Like that was, I'm saying, like I'm looking over to the lady. I'm saying, like, can y'all be quiet? I'm trying to. And that was the same night. That was the same night we clinched the division. I'm like, they over there talking about, Billy, he's gonna start private school. I don't care about that. Be quiet,
dude. So in 2010, me and my brother took my dad to a Braves game for Father's Day, and I think it was 2010. Braves are playing the Royals. Greinke's pitching, and it was one of those like 2 weeks where Troy Gloss was like on fire. It was like Barry Bonds for like a month or something, you know. And we were down 10 rows behind home plate. We had won these tickets, and bottom of the ninth. It was tied up. I think there's a guy on second base. It's 2 outs. Troy Gloss is up to bat, and me and my dad and my brother are just standing up going crazy. You know, it's the bottom of the ninth. You know, Troy Gloss is up to bat, and we're looking around. And nobody's standing. You know what I mean? Everybody around us is like some yuppies from Alpharetta or something. Like they're not ready for the game. And we're looking around, and people are asking us to sit down. And the usher in front of us asks us to sit down, and my redneck dad from freaking Rome, Georgia, is like, "Are you kidding me? The Red Sox fans are standing in the second inning in April, you know."
Exactly.
And so right as we sit down, Troy Gloss hits a walk-off bomb, and the place goes crazy.
Wow, man.
But before we go in the chat real quick, Josh. To piggyback on something you said, I'm almost positive I saw Molina tell Martinez to concentrate on the batter. I'm almost positive I read his lips one time I'm almost positive I read his lips saying, "Hey, concentrate on the batter." Mm-hmm. When he was playing off second, I'm positive that I read his lips and that's what he said. Concentrate on the batter. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing him saying something. Okay.
Yes,
I bet you're right.
Look, I'm pretty sure he was telling them like concentrate on the batter. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. To run through the chat real quick, we got Eric joining us. Thanks, Eric. He says chop on, and they're not gonna like this one. Eric. He says I think the Braves can get to the NLCS if Vic Beasley can pitch 7 solid innings tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure this was an inside joke. Later on, I can see it was. Zach G is joining the chat. He said, "Ask Josh Brown and people."
No politics on the show. No politics on the show.
Oh my gosh.
He said it's not. He said it's an inside joke, and Josh would get it. Yeah. You know, I guess. And Zach G also said the Braves won in spite of Snitker, and Eric asked him what did Snit do wrong, and Eric said it was his moves in the ninth that won it. Yep, you're right, Eric. Eric also said go Dogs, go Dogs. JF joined us. Thanks, JF. He said the Falcons just make me depressed. That's why we're talking about the Braves, JF.
We got the Braves to talk about. Let's put the Falcons in the rear view.
Yeah, and like I said, Zach G said he was being sarcastic. It was a joke. Eric said the first time the Braves will come back to lead a playoff series down to their last out since 1995. Wow. Eric is our stat man while we are in the show here. Cool. Thumbs up, interesting stuff like that. Wow, that's pretty interesting, Eric. Wow. And he said, we know what happened then. We do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Michael Lane's joined us. Thanks, Mike. He said Dansby will have a higher career WAR than Simmons. All things loyal.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, it is.
That's a hot take. It is.
I was scrolling through earlier and I saw that and I was like, let me check it out. I'm gonna have to do some Googling later. That's interesting, Michael. Thanks for giving us something to look up. Sean Gomes is joining us. He said, he doesn't know baseball, but he's going to go for the Braves. And do they have
That's
a chance
why
to
you
win it
watching the
all?
show. But
And Melvin Emery said, yes, they do.
thank you, Sean, for watching the show. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you.
Yeah. And JF was updating them. See, I just saw it. I flipped to myself. Dodgers are up 5-2 now.
Wow.
Thanks, JF.
Wow.
And that's about to be the next topic, Eric. Eric says Soroka should be the Braves' ace pitcher next year. If you want to bring Keuchel back, I'm all for it. However, with Soroka, you do not need to if you want to use the money elsewhere. And Sean Gomes says, is our pitching good enough to go to the World Series? And said Dodgers are up 8-2 now.
Yeah, as far as Sean Gomes' question, look, it all depends on how if we can close out this series tomorrow, then that'd be, that question would kind of be, we can do it. It's just all about being consistent. That's all it is.
Hey, well, if they pitch if Folty, Soroka, and Fried can pitch Soroka had it going today, man. That cutter, that split, that thing was falling off, man, to the right-handed batters. It was falling away from them. That pitch was nasty today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's so good.
And we also forget that how good, Keuchel only allowed one earned run in game one. Yeah. He was pulled after 70 pitches, so it wasn't like he was bad necessarily. It's just that Folty and Soroka were out of this world. And so if he gets the ball tomorrow, which I think he probably will, I have 100% confidence that he can get it for us in game 4 tomorrow, no doubt.
Yeah.
What about you think Teron makes an appearance tomorrow?
That
makes me nervous. That makes me really nervous. I would go with Keuchel, and if something happens early, then it comes Teron. But I think you have to go Keuchel. That's why you signed him.
Right.
I don't trust Julio game 4 tomorrow.
I don't either.
I just don't. We get a lot of hate because we kind of like Julio, but
I don't dislike Julio.
But he does make you nervous for sure.
Yeah.
My thing about Julio is I think he's probably better than people make him out to be in general, and I think he's you got a little bit of maybe some fan fatigue because it feels like he's been in Atlanta forever.
It's a great call. Yeah,
he's still pretty young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he used to throw like 92, 93, right? And now he's pitching like 88, 89.
With way more movement. There's not as much power there as it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still like the feller.
I like him too, but I think if you're asking me who do I want to pitch in a series clinching game, I'm going to pick Dallas Keuchel over Julio Teheran. Probably
you're right.
9 times out of 10,
Yeah. And this segue, since we're talking about pitching, the segue to our next question. Started with you, Luke, Josh. Luke Jackson. Will Luke Jackson and our bullpen be the downfall for getting knocked out of the playoffs?
Oh, I've got some hot takes. Luke, so Luke Jackson, the only other relief pitcher I think in the National League with more strikeouts than Luke Jackson is, I wrote it down somewhere. Hang on. Luke Jackson's a savage, you guys. Right there. Next to Josh Hader. Yeah. Second most strikeouts by a National League relief pitcher. That's awesome. He's literally had one blown save since June 16th. I think Luke Jackson's a lot better than I think maybe a lot of friends think he is.
I agree with that.
When he came in the other night, here's the deal. When he came in the other night, he was getting warmed up in the 6th, I think. And then he cools back down, and they put in Martin, and he gets hurt. And so basically, like, Luke's mindset is, I'm getting warmed up, and then I'm not getting warmed up, and they've got a plan that doesn't involve me. And so he's just chilling, right? And then shit hits the fan, and dude has to get warmed up in a split second, go pitch in front of 42,000 in his very first postseason appearance in front of the whole world. And oh, by the way, Paul Goldschmidt's up to bat. And so, yeah, he throws a meatball like right down the middle. It was terrible for sure. But I don't think he's going to be the downfall. I don't think Luke Jackson's Mariano Rivera or anything, but I think he's pretty good. And to have him as a 7th, 8th inning guy, I mean, he would be a closer on a lot of their teams. And I used to make fun of the guy. I mean, I think everybody did last year. We called him Booger. He sucked. He was not very good. And then he figured out how to throw a slider, and his slider is stupid. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm a Josh in this. I don't think the bullpen and specifically Luke Jackson will be what eliminates us from the playoffs. I would say more at this point it would be because of inconsistent offense against really good pitching, whether that be the Dodgers or the Nationals. If we do advance in the Cardinals series, we still have to beat Dakota Hudson and probably Jack Flaherty if it gets to Game 5. So I think that would be the downfall. Right. Luke Jackson, since August 1, has the ERA of 3.57. I think he's such a lightning rod because of how poor he was last year and the fact that he does have the tendency to give up home runs. But I'm a Josh in this. He is a solid middle relief guy for this team. And now, because of what happened to Chris Martin, his role will have to increase. In fact, we saw today he was in the bullpen warming up multiple times. In fact, he might have been the guy, he or Shane Green would have been the guy that had been called upon in the 9th and Melanson would have ran into trouble. So I don't think the bullpen will be the downfall of this year's team. I think it would be the inconsistent offense at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I think to I think with Jackson, it's often ugly. So anybody there's a lot of people that freak out when Luke Jackson's brought in, and I'll grant them, I get it, because I think he's, not that he's a closer, but he was kind of a closer this year. With a closer, you're used to a guy coming in and just striking everybody out. He doesn't really do that. He pitches to contact, so it makes you nervous. He lets a guy on base, maybe more than one guy on base, but I think he's just a little better than I think people might realize. And I'm with Matt, though. It's like the offense has been so good, and so it's got to start, picking up. Not that it obviously tonight was amazing, you know what I mean? But your Josh Donaldsons and Ozzy Albies have to kind of wake up.
Yeah,
and
they got to wake up.
And Freddie, right? I mean, Freddie, you saw with the bases loaded and everything.
Yeah.
If all of those guys are even doing 70%, right? And then your Adam Duvall's come in and contribute, I mean, this team can go so far.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Coach.
When we had Cassidy on recently, Don, we talked about how Luke Jackson had been better, and I praised Luke Jackson. I praised him. But I ain't gonna lie, when he came in the other day, I had deja vu and I got nervous. I'm not gonna lie. So I do know he's been much better. I praised him just a month ago, but the other day he did make me nervous, and I have to admit that. Yeah, he scares me. I'm not going to admit he scares me.
I think Josh made a great point in that he wasn't supposed to be in that game. He has to warm up on the field in front of a sellout crowd. I'm sure trying to get warmed up doing that.
And Goldie's just hanging out there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he was destined for failure in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta admit, he makes me nervous. So
all right, that's fair.
I'm honest, but I did praise him just a couple weeks ago for being better. I did. I didn't realize that he had the second most strikeouts, but
Duval just a month ago, man. So
please make me wrong.
Yeah, Duval, he had Duval was in a good slump for a minute, but he woke up. All right, go back into the chat again.
Eric said if Folty continues to be the good Folty, we can go as far as the bats take us. Yeah, but we need the bats to crank up, Eric. And he also said, just to be clear, he's not down on Keuchel. He was just saying we don't have to resign him if you want to use the money elsewhere. Okay, I get what you're saying. But we could. Yeah. Eric, we have money. We could. First Take critic joined us. Thanks. He said, "Oh God, Josh Brown is on." And
I apologize to y'all in advance.
Hey, First Take Critic, is my first time
Yes, sir.
seeing you, man. Appreciate you for joining us. If you can, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it.
And Sean Gomes was saying, so our pitching is okay. And a few people answering. He was First Take Critic said Luke shouldn't be used in close games again. 2-pitch guy that lacks control.
Okay.
And JF said, Sean, our starters are pretty nice. Actually, it's just the relief pitchers that can be shaky sometimes, you know. And like I said, to the relief pitchers, they had been shaky in June and July, August, September. They got better as the year is whatever. It wasn't an issue. We weren't talking about it anymore in late August, September. We weren't talking about the relief anymore. So, and
after the trade deadline, when Anthopoulos brought over those guys,
the first 2 games didn't go good.
Yeah, but think about this though. I remember watching. I think it was Shane Green that he came from Detroit. I remember watching him being told he's just been traded. He's hugging all his boys goodbye in the dugout. You know, the very next night, dude's on the mound for Atlanta, and call me old school guy or whatever, but like that, these guys are real dudes, you know. And so a couple of times to adjust. That's old news though.
Yeah. And Sean Gomes said he hopes we can pull it out. He knows they have to have good pitching to win it all.
You have to.
Yep. Good pitching beats good hitting.
Yep. Postseason baseball does.
True. Yep. All the time. Every year we see it. It's proven every year.
Yep.
All right.
Guy gets hot with a pitch that can't be hit that night. 3-4 hitter team, go deep into the 8th inning, win a ball game 2-1, 3-1. He's a hero. We see it every year.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the controversy that went down Thursday night with Ronald Acuna. I'm gonna start with you, Josh. Tell us your take on that.
Okay, there's some layers to this. First of all, like everybody loves Ronald Acuna, and there was a lot of crazy narratives, at least on Braves Twitter, about it. Right, a big narrative I saw was the only people who are questioning the way Ronald plays are like old baby boomers or whatever, right? And I'm like, y'all, did you not hear Ozzy Albies, his best friend, call him out, you know? And my thing is, his teammates weren't calling him out for showboating. They were just calling him out for showboating and not hitting a home run. Like, they love the way he plays. Everybody does, right? I don't think it's that big of a deal, though. Me and Ken Hendricks, my co-host, were talking about it on the phone the other day. And Ken said, you know, what if that's just like kind of the way he is? What if he's so good? He's so amazing. What if that's part of the package you get with a guy like that? Like, he's going to showboat, and you just kind of have to accept it. But, you know, it's not – it would be like the guy in football celebrating that he got a touchdown, but he's on the 1-yard line, right? And so it doesn't look good. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I think it got blown way out of proportion. I think a lot of the beat writers got thrown under the bus. It was yesterday morning. Like, everybody was just livid at the Braves beat writers for asking the questions. And I'm like, first of all, during that game, for good or bad, that was a huge story. Everybody's tweeting about it. Both sides. Everybody. It was like crazy, right? And so if I'm a journalist, right, I'm gonna pursue that story. I'm gonna ask some players about it, and which they did, and they weren't doing it with any kind of malice in their hearts or any kind of agenda. They were just asking his teammates about it. You know, that's what I think. And then Twitter just melted for a day, maybe 2 days.
Yeah, it did.
But I think everybody will honestly say I think everybody loves the way Ronnie plays. It's so much fun. I mean, I was watching the Nats game tonight a little bit, and like Juan Soto, everybody loves that. And there's also a false narrative. This is just my opinion, that, you know, MLB is doing this whole let the kids play thing, and it implies that historically MLB's never allowed the kids to play, which I think is kind of silly, because I mean, I grew up watching, you know, Ricky Henderson and you know, King Griffey Jr. and like all these guys that just had fun and played with swag and just, you know, Deion Sanders, right?
Yes.
And so there's this. I think there's a lot of younger. I'm older than a lot of people on Braves Twitter.
Andrew.
There's Andrew. Yeah, right. There's a lot of younger fans I think on Twitter right now that think everything pre 2011 was just like a bunch of old boring guys playing baseball, and we've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, y'all, I mean, even like Dizzy Dean had swagger, like Babe Ruth had swagger, like Willie Mays, they called him the kid, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of hot takes.
Yeah, I forgot about Mr. October.
Mr. October.
Oh yeah, he's a big one. Yeah.
That man had too much sauce.
Those guys, Catfish Hunter, like
right.
You know, Bob Gibson's my favorite pitcher of all time. He was a savage. He would throw at your head and didn't care at all about you or your family. And you know, those guys existed. You know, so it's not like baseball has always been boring before Ronald Acuna, right? Maybe there's more bat flips now, but I don't know about that even, right? Because if you haven't watched it, YouTube Ryan Klesko bat flip.
Oh man, like, I remember Ryan Klesko.
I remember Klesko's bat flip.
Yeah.
They didn't like it.
No, so I don't know. That's my old man hot take.
All right, Matt, what's your take?
I find myself balancing two different emotions with it. You know, in the heat of the moment, I was mad. Like, you know, he could have been on second base. That could have been an important run for the game. Turns out it very well. I mean, we lost 7-6, so I guess you can play revisionist history and say, okay, that would have been an important run. But I think there's a lot of truth to what Josh says about, you know, that's just who Ronald is. He's going to play that way. He's going to play with a lot of pizzazz. I was surprised that it happened again after what happened in the Dodgers series back in August. When Snit, you know, pulled him out of the game and publicly, that was his reprimand, I guess you can say, was he pulled him out of the game. But I think you cannot hinder Ronald from being who he is as a player, and you know, Ozzy to a lesser degree when it comes to that stuff. And in regards to the beat writers asking teammates their thoughts on it, I mean, that's their job to do that. And I was a little surprised with some of their comments, I guess, especially Ozzy and Dansby responding the way they did in public to the press. That's not really the Braves' way with this particular team anyways. But with that being said, though, it's old news now, and I think that his performance in the NLCS so far has really is kind of taken a back seat, which is too bad to that one particular moment, because his performance has been too good, especially in the first two games, to let that moment overtake everything else.
Right. And even today, some idiot New York Post wrote an op-ed.
I saw that.
Ronald Acuna's ruining. And it got clicks. I think he knew what he was doing.
That was clickbait.
It's always clickbait.
Yeah. No. Even the old curmudgeons who were mad that Ronald, you know, showboated, don't think that. You know what I mean? So, I think there's no more nuance in like social media, and I think, you know, you're either one way or the other. Like, it's so extreme. But I mean, I think realistically, everybody loves Ronald Acuna. He's awesome. Showboat all you want, man. Just make sure it goes over the fence.
Right. And let's be real about something. We live a very thin-skinned culture all the way around. And for example, today, Carlos Martinez, the ball that hit Ronald there in the top of the ninth, that's sent back to what happened when when he kind of trotted to first base, bat flipped after the home run in game one. Like, people just need to relax and let's play a game. Let's play the sport. And who cares if there's a bat flip, all that kind of stuff. Let's just play. Let's let people be who they are, personalities be who they are, and let's just play baseball.
Yeah, people just too sensitive, man. That's the thing, man. People just too soft.
Right, and let them play. And then if the pitcher takes issue with it, I love it, right? I loved the whole.
Don't let them hit home runs.
There you go. I loved, and I still do, the whole Puig and Bumgarner thing. And a lot of people get mad at Bumgarner, like, he's such a douchebag. I'm like, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Watch it. Like, he takes personal offense to someone showing him up on live TV. You know, that's awesome. That's sports. It's awesome. And Puig trolls him about it, right? And it's hilarious. So I think it's great. More testosterone in sports is what I say.
All right, Coach.
My thing with Acuna, if I was in the clubhouse, I would say, my issue would have been like, much like Matt, I was mad when it happened because I'm like, hey, you should be on second base. My thing is like, understand the moment. Understand the moment.
Right.
This isn't a Tuesday in May.
Right. Yes,
this
sir.
isn't
Yes,
August and we're up 9 games. You know what I'm saying? If we're in a pennant race, we're in a playoff game, understand the moment. So that was more my issue is it's like, hey man, this is the playoffs. Like, understand the moment. So if I was Freddie, the elder statesman or B-Mac in the clubhouse, I would have pulled him aside and that would have been my message. Hey, I don't care about that at all, man. Have some fun. Understand the moment. Understand, it makes me think about I'm sure y'all saw the sports center clip with Duke, the guy from Duke said he told Zion, hey, don't F this up for me. Hey, understand the moment. Don't F this up for the other 39 guys in the dugout. Understand the moment. So that was my biggest issue.
All right. And one more question. All right, Ozzy Albies and Nick Markakis has to be consistent throughout the rest of the playoffs. Like, what's y'all take on that, Josh?
Well, they're two very different players, obviously.
Yeah.
What's funny about Albies is this whole year, I think everybody was talking about Acuna, which rightfully so, right? He's chasing 40-40. Dude's amazing. So everyone's talking about Acuna. Everyone's talking about Soroka. And nobody's really talking about Ozzy Albies, man. And was ridiculous all year. Stupid, like so good. I think maybe because he started off quietly. But I think Ozzy is they're very, very different. Marquez and Ozzy Albies. I think Ozzy is way better with the bat and just all around. And I think if he turns on even just a little bit, he could be a huge contribution to this team. I'm probably the biggest Nick Markakis fanboy on Twitter. Everybody hates me for it because I like and this is a really big hot take, but I like hits and I think they're cool. And getting on base is good and doubles are awesome.
That's all he does.
That's all he does, man. And he's not flashy. He's like so low key. And I've got my fan here. You know what I mean? But like, there's a lot of analytical people on Twitter who hate him because his WAR and his WRC plus are never high. But the dude just rakes, man. And he hasn't been amazing this postseason, but small sample size, okay. If he can just get on base, which is what he does, and drive in some runs, which is what he does.
That's all we need.
I think he can do that. I think he's fine. Yeah. I actually, even though I'm the biggest Nick Markakis fanboy on the internet, if you asked me a month ago, I actually said it on the podcast. I thought that Matt Joy should start over him in the postseason, actually. Whether that's the correct decision or I don't know. I'm just a replacement level podcaster, but I'm not worried about Cakes, man. He's so good. He sucked against lefties this year. I'll admit that much for sure. Against lefties, he's the other night when it was the first game, 7-6, bottom of the ninth, and Cakes is up. Even I was like, it's over.
All right.
I think he'll be all right.
All right, Matt.
With Ozzy Albies, I think he is that's the key. I feel like to this offense. Now he was good today, but that's to me he's the guy in that lineup that sets the table for Freeman and JD to produce, and that's what needs to get back to him being that way. Now, with that being said, though, I felt like today in particular. Wainwright had everybody so off balance with his curveball that I don't think it really mattered today in terms of a consistency or approach, whatever because Wainwright was so good. Yeah. I'm if you're the number one fanboy for Markakis, I'm probably number two. I love the signing last fall or last winter rather, and I still love it now. I think there's something to having a veteran presence. I know people talk about it all the time, this veteran clubhouse presence. And it's an overblown narrative, and I understand that might be to a certain degree, but I think there is something to that. So I'll always be in his corner.
I think y'all either 2 or 3 of the on the totem pole. I think number 1 is going to be Cassidy, my man. She's a huge.
Oh, cool.
She is a huge.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I watched the beginning of it. I wasn't even watch the whole thing.
Yeah, she's a huge Nick Markakis fan.
Nice.
Huge. So, what's your thoughts?
Ever since he told off John Hart that one time in the clubhouse, when John Hart came down and publicly went after Snicker, and Markakis said, "Listen, if he comes down here again, I'll kick his you know what." I was all in on Nick Markakis after that point because like what general manager comes down there and says that to your manager or whatever John Hart's title was. I mean, that's like. Markakis doesn't
baseball, whatever.
And Markakis says, "Don't let him do that ever again." I thought that was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
all the Braves bloggers hated that when that happened. They were like, "Imagine being that immature. Imagine doing that." I'm like,
well, imagine John Hart doing that. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
The one thing people don't understand about Nick Markakis is he has that old school type of swag. That a lot of people don't understand. Like, a lot of baseball players, these days they have their own little thing. But Nick Markakis, he remind me of a older, like 90s, 80s, like
he's
baseball
a throwback
player.
guy. Yeah,
he's a throwback guy.
Hey,
very retro.
I like Nick Markakis. Guy has an awesome beard. And all he does is hit doubles. I mean, what's not to like? What's not to like? And he has an awesome beard. I mean, that dude's cool. I want to have a beer with Nick Markakis.
Second most doubles in baseball since like 2009. I think Robinson Cano's number 1, but I don't give him credit because he might have cheated. So I mean,
and Braves Twitter is. I'm sure every team's Twitter is this way.
No,
it's
I don't
so
think they are.
neat. Okay, well,
they're not
that's scary. That's terrifying. So knee-jerk reaction. Like today when he struck out, we had Hamilton on second base with nobody out. All we needed for Markakis was to get ground ball or whatever, and they freak out whenever he doesn't advance the runner, or at least put the ball in play. Drives me crazy. The knee jerk, hot take, sudden reaction kind of fandom that we have here.
I think people just on Twitter they have like tweets already drafted, and
that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm like a second after he make a second after he gets out or whatever, like it's already posted. I'm saying like they ain't the play just happened. Like y'all must have had this thing already set in place.
Right.
Nick and Isaiah are both going to have hit a big double in this series to drive in a run that's going to in a big moment.
Let's hope it's tomorrow. Let's hope it's tomorrow, man.
Both of those guys are going to hit their classic doubles and drive in a run in a big moment. Like they're both going to have a Dansby moment in this series.
Go into the chat one more time.
I'm ready. Sign me up. Yeah.
JF said that's why I said sometimes, Coach, he was referring to our relievers. I-20 Eric said, speaking of offense, though, there could have been 2-3 home runs tonight had we been in Atlanta. Yeah, if the ball was flying.
That's a fair point.
It look cooler. It's gonna be a little cooler when they come back here, but it look cooler in St. Louis as well too. JF said he's speaking of the celebrations. He was like, Dion celebrated touchdowns at the 25, let alone the hard line. They say his high step is legendary. Hey, I don't know if you guys remember, Dion high stepped in baseball too. I seen Dion go from first to home, high stepping, holding his helmet the whole way, and he's scoring. You like just run, Dion. He didn't even slide.
Dude, when I was in, oh God, I was in Allgood Elementary School in Marietta, Georgia, and he came and spoke. He came and spoke to my school.
Oh, sweet, that's awesome.
This was like 92, I think, maybe 92.
Okay.
And I still remember he spoke about the little engine that could. And I just remember he got all the kids to repeat after him. I think I can. I think I can. I just remember like, I think I can. I think I can. I really believed in myself, man. And he signed his autograph. And this is before he turned to the Lord, because pre-Lord he signed the S with a dollar sign. And now it's just yes. Yeah, man.
I-20 Eric said his high step was legendary, and Eric also said Martinez has a problem with Acuna bat flipping and trotting the first, but he didn't say anything about Molina staring down Acuna when he gunned him down the first inning. Hey,
That's a hot
Yeah.
take.
Because Molina sure does. We were talking about that before we start recording. Molina sure does do a lot of animations and picking. You know, he's not quiet back there.
He's real sneaky. Molina's real sneaky. Even in the ninth inning, when they walked Acuna, like because they, Martinez almost hit him with the pitch. But you can see Molina was talking and Acuna the whole time was keeping his cool because he wasn't trying to get ejected from the game. Cause we needed him in the bottom of the ninth in the outfield. So.
Yep.
All right. One more question before we end this stream. So we're not gonna do predictions. I don't like to do predictions in baseball, but we're just gonna leave it with a simple question. Do you guys think we can pull off and win it tomorrow in St. Louis? Started with you, Josh.
Oh Lord. Who's on the mound for the Cardinals?
Dakota Hudson's on the mound for the Cardinals.
I've never heard of her, so the Braves are That's what I'm talking about.
I like that.
Dakota.
By the way, 3:00 game, like on a Monday. What the hell?
People got to work. Like
I've got to lie to my boss, and I like my boss. I don't want to lie to him, but I'm gonna have to. You know what I mean?
It should be it should be a law in Georgia. If the Braves make the playoffs, they got to play at 7:00.
Yeah.
Or
7:05.
Or
TBS time.
Or you get to get off work early. Like
so.
Exactly.
The day before they announced Game 4 and Game 5 start times, my wife and I agreed to we are refinancing our house, and so we're closing tomorrow at 2:30 Central Time, which is right in the middle of the game. So I gotta record. I'm gonna be an hour and a half behind. I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, it's a awful luck.
You already know you're gonna be on the ESPN app. You'll get all the updates.
No. I am weird about stuff like that. I will have it recorded. I will not even. I'm not gonna hear anything that goes on.
That's impressive. I can't do that.
I can't do that either, man.
I can record shows, or like documentaries or whatever. Like I cannot record games. I have to watch them live. And if I can't watch them live, I'm just at the mercy of like Twitter texting. I can't do it, man.
I told my parents tonight, if for some reason, or my siblings, if they need me for some reason, contact my wife because my phone's gonna be on airplane mode for about 5 hours tomorrow because I want to know anything that goes on. I'm gonna turn the radio off in the car.
I got your Twitter, and I'm gonna troll you. I'm gonna tweet you the whole time.
See, I'm like Matt. I can do that. I'm a huge college football fan, and back when my kids were younger. They played, rec league football. So obviously, and I coached as well.
How old are you? You look like you're 24.
Man, thank you. Don't make me send you a bouquet of flowers. I'm 41 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
I never guessed that either.
No, I thought you were younger.
So back when my kids played and coached at the park, obviously on Saturday, we're gone all day.
Right.
So I literally would do the same thing, and I would put my phone in my wife's purse, and I would tell her, just check the text messages and tell me the things that are important. And I would get home and I would literally have the whole college football, and I would start from the beginning. So I could do that as well. Don't spoil it.
I don't have the willpower. Like if I ain't watching it live, then I just if I'm not there watching it on TV, I just got to get the ESPN app and just follow along through that. So. Yeah.
Well, you asked me if I think we can win tomorrow. I think this is why we signed up for moments like this, elimination game. And, baseball is so weird because momentum really doesn't play a key part. I don't think it does anyways play a key part in a 162-game season. But in a short series, when the Cardinals were down to their last out to win Game 3 tonight and they didn't do it, I just got to feel like that has a hangover effect tomorrow. And I think we win in St. Louis and move on to the NLCS.
Okay.
All right.
It's ugly though. I think 5 runs. Braves Twitter eats itself.
No!
Coffee shop riders boycott the Braves, and then Markakis walks it off.
I hope it don't even. No, I don't look. I want an easy win tomorrow, man. Like
I would love an easy win.
Look, it wasn't easy today. Look, let's just let tomorrow just be just calm.
I don't think I'm 35. I don't think my heart can take it tomorrow. I might be in cardiac arrest, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was about to end up dying tonight if we would have lost.
I think the game benefits us though.
Really?
Tomorrow, actually, I do. I think that it'll be a little bit warmer in the St. Louis air. I think that suits our guys a little bit more. I think it suits our pitchers a little bit more. Who, even though it's been unseasonably warm everywhere, I think it suits our guys a little bit better when you're talking about gripping the ball and things like that. And I know it's not cold in St. Louis right now, but I just think playing early in the day warmer, I think that suits us. And we go off tomorrow for 6, 7, 8 runs.
Let's go. I'm down with that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't make predictions. I just hope we can just get out tomorrow with a win without any stress and just come on back to Atlanta. And, hey, the Dodgers pull off the series, we go out there to Los Angeles. If somehow the Nationals pull it off, they got to come see us down here. So, hey, either or, man. I just want us – look, I haven't seen this team in the NLCS since 2001. And we lost to the potential World Series champs that year, the Diamondbacks. So, look, if we can just get over this hump right here and make it to the NLCS, I'd be grateful as a Braves fan because I'm getting sick and tired of hearing we always first round exit, and then like
it'd be progress, no doubt. Exactly. It'd be a step forward.
Mm-hmm. It's 8-4 right now, top of the 7.
All right. So everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all joining us. Thank y'all for coming on. Let everybody know where we can find y'all, starting with you, Josh.
Yeah, so our podcast is Knockahoma Nation, so you could find us on iTunes, CastBox, Stitcher, at Knockahoma NTN on Twitter. We've got a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter at the MTN Brown. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Matt.
Yes, you can read my stuff at tomahawktake.com. We have all of our talented writers have had wall-to-wall coverage of the playoffs so far, and there'll be plenty of stuff out tomorrow as well. And takeaways from today's game, and then we'll be previewing Game 4 tomorrow as well.
All right.
I used to write for Tomahawk Take. I didn't know you did. That's awesome.
Oh, really? When did you? Not that this is bad. This is bad podcasting. But when did you write for Tomahawk Take?
From like 2015, 16ish to like a year ago.
Oh, gotcha. Man. Okay, cool. I started about a year ago.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was definitely.
Alan Carpenter is a saint.
He is a good man. He is a good man. I enjoy working with him.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, Coach. You have anything else to talk about?
No, that was it. That was it. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Josh and Matt.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all joining us. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla.
It's a hometown sports podcast. We'll be back Wednesday with another rivalry week show. We're going to be previewing the Bulldogs versus South Carolina game with the Comrade. So join us Wednesday night at 9:00. We already know we're going to do the South Carolina, so but still join us. Hold
on. What's this we stuff?
Hey.
Did you hear that? What's this we stuff? You're not a Bulldog fan. Don't try that. I heard that. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Don't start. I support the Bulldogs, so it is what it is, man.
Okay.
All right. And we know Josh is a big Bulldog fan too. So hey, join us back on Wednesday night, man, at 9:00 if you can, man. All right.
We'll do.
All right. Y'all have a great evening. See y'all Wednesday. Appreciate it.